cannot believe this. Making a brand new house for all of us to live in without talking to me? If you go through with finishing that place, we are most definitely not going to move in with you.
Huh?
You really are an airheaded mother-in-law. No matter how many times your daughter-in-law tells you she won't live with you guys, you still manage to go ahead and make a house for everyone. If having that house ready for all of us to move in is your battle plan, then it's not going to make me be defeated.
Maddie, I'm a little concerned by what you might be confused by. This larger house wasn't built with you guys in mind, you know.
Huh?
We've decided to live together with my second oldest son and his wife. And so that's why he had our house remade into a much larger and spacious home. It wasn't that our previous house couldn't be lived in by all of us, but we all decided that we want a house large enough for us to all have a bit of privacy. And so we did our best to build a brand new and amazing house.
What? So you plan to just overlook your oldest son and his wife and live together with your second oldest instead?
Overlook you guys? I'm pretty sure that you did say that you never wanted to live together with us, right? So I don't understand why you are complaining even more over this choice.
I understand that, but...
And to be honest, I don't really want to have you living together with us either. And now that you guys don't have to live here, you both can relax a little knowing you won't have to care for us.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, but you never seemed to really like me. And during the holidays, you and my son never came home to celebrate with us. Yet you both had the courage to ask us to give your kid $1,000 in money for Christmas. I really am sorry, but I cannot see myself ever wanting to live with either of you.
Well, I'm sorry for you, Beth, that you think your oldest son and his wife have to come back to your place for the holidays every year. Because we sure don't have to. But you must understand that we have a daughter now who is your grandchild. And as the grandparents, it's your guys' job to spoil her and make her as happy as she can be.
And that's the whole reason we come over there frequently to play with her. We never get to see you guys when the rest of the family is here, so we make up for that by coming your guys' way. But you only ever give us about 10 minutes within your house before you both kick us out. So how are we supposed to make her happy if you never let us near her for long enough? Your father-in-law and I are at our limits with the way you two have acted and treated us.
Huh? Why are you starting to get all mouthy towards me? This is one of the reasons why I hate you as my mother-in-law. Ugh, I feel so bad for your second oldest's wife, Margaret. The fact that she has to start living with a woman that will bully her every day.
Say whatever pleases you, Maddie. But just be aware that us building this new house is not for you two, so you can both calm down now. Now, goodbye.
Beth, if I begin to live with you, does that mean you are going to start picking on me and making me feel bad? Are you really planning on doing to me what you've done to Maddie?
Huh? I would never do something like that to you, Margaret. And what do you mean I've been picking on Maddie?
Well, she just spoke to me a little bit ago. And that's when she sent me a huge 5 gigabyte file over the phone. And she told me in that file I'd find all I need to believe that you have been bullying her. She then told me to read and look at it all and then rethink coming to live with you guys.
A 5 gigabyte file, huh? She really ended up using that much of her data for no reason then?
I took a quick look at all of it, but I don't really think what all she's saying is true. But yet again, there are things in there that do concern me a bit, so I have to ask. Do you plan on picking on me the way you do with her?
I'm telling you that I have no reason to do that to you. Why would I ever want to pick on you or do anything mean when we finally come this close to living together?
That's what I thought. And when I think of you, all I can think of are really good things. And is it true that Maddie really is that strange of a woman, then? I just wonder because it seems she really has it out for you. Did something happen in the past to make her that upset?
When it comes to that, it's really nothing. I think that she just has a fight to pick with me for just being her mother-in-law.
Huh? So for no reason, she just hates you?
Well, you've heard on the news and such before that things like this happen all the time between mothers and their daughters-in-law. And I think in her mind she believes that I'll be the same way to her, hence why she's so aggressive towards me. She thinks that all mother-in-laws are out to get her. But I suppose she is the wife to my oldest son. He probably allows all this to happen without ever stopping her from thinking such things.
Wow. And so you think that's the only reason she's that upset with you all the time?
Well, when I asked my son about it, he told me that a lot of her friends have had bad experiences with their mother-in-laws. And so I'm pretty sure that because of their experiences, she expects the same thing from me. I really do want to become close family with her, but no matter what I try and do, she never wants to see me as a friend. At first, she was nice to me and me to her, but then soon after, she began accusing me of bullying her.
Wow. That's all a total waste of being a happy family. I think that you're one of the kindest mother-in-laws a woman could ask for. I guess she really just wants to cause problems, though, huh?
Saying that I'm nice. After having to talk to Maddie, that makes me feel so happy inside. But you don't have to be so kind to me.
But I'm not trying to just make you happy. I was even a bit worried about what it'd be like having in-laws, but because of how kind you've been to me, I don't feel any anxiety when I'm around you at all.
Well, I'll do my best to continue making you feel comfortable in our family. I'm sure that when we start living together, there will be a little stress between us and all.
Well, that's what happens, right? But I ask that you don't worry about us too much while we're there and that you just relax. We'll all work really hard together to make living with one another as fun as possible. That house looks even more beautiful than I was imagining. All of the yard and everything is looking perfect as well. Could that all be because you have Margaret around to help? If she's the kind of girl that loves making the house look beautiful, her and I could become even closer to one another.
Maddie? You're complimenting our yard and house? Does that mean you've come over to see the new house?
I have, and I came all the way here on an airplane. I heard from Trevor that you guys had completed the house just yesterday.
And that's nice and all of you to come from so far to see us, but we haven't even begun to move into there just yet. And just coming over without mentioning anything to us is a bit rude. That place isn't the house we used to all live in, as it's now become the home of my second oldest and us.
No, actually, starting today, we plan to live here as well. And that shouldn't be a problem for you at all, right, Beth?
Excuse me? Does that mean that after all this time you finally want to live with us?
Seriously? This has nothing to do with me wanting to live together with some jerk of a mother-in-law. Starting today, the oldest brother and his wife will live together with his younger brother and wife. Both you and your husband can go ahead and rent a small apartment nearby.
Huh? And why exactly do my husband and I have to be the ones to leave the new house? We built that place specifically for us and my second oldest. What is wrong with you coming here unannounced and telling us to get out of there? I do not like that you're acting this sporadic.
I'm not being sporadic in any way, Beth. I'm just doing exactly as I want. Actually, don't you think my plan is pretty dang smart of me? The older and younger brothers living together under one roof with their wives. Doing it that way would mean that we can all support one another and bundle our earnings together.
What?
I made sure a while back to advise Margaret to rethink living together with her in-laws. But I'm not sure if she understood what I meant and said that she was totally fine living with you. She never wanted to live together with you guys, yet kept it a secret and tried her best to fake the want to.
And that's probably just what you want to believe? Her and I have talked about this at least a dozen times, and each time she's been so happy over the idea of living together.
Well, unfortunately for you, she was just trying to be nice to you since you're her mother-in-law. But she knows well enough that living with us both instead of you guys is far more stress-free and fun. Unlike an old bag, her and I are closer in age, so we won't have to worry about differences in the way we think. And I know that she will be much happier to live like that instead of having to worry about you.
But you still don't know that, right? Now, I've had enough talking, so hurry up and get out of that house. I'm telling you right now that I'm almost past my limit here.
Stop all of that, Bev. Don't be so upset that you'll no longer have a daughter-in-law to bully anymore.
Huh?
That's right. I was going to let you know about this sooner or later, but I still expect you to be the one to pay off the loan on the house for us. Understand that neither us or your second oldest and his wife will pay a dime for the place.
Excuse me? Not only are you saying that you'll steal that house, but you want me to pay for it all on my own?
But we're being kind by just letting you and your husband live nearby to your sons and their wives, right? And so, a way of saying thanks. You should pay that loan off for us. Now, if anything were to happen to either one of you, you can run over to us to take care of you.
Then let me ask this. If I were to be in trouble, would you guys actually try and help me? My husband and I have gotten a lot older, and so our legs are not as great as they used to be. We already have to go to the hospital at least once a month for checkups and such. Does this mean that you'd be willing to at least stop by once a month to take us in?
Huh? Why the hell would I ever do such meaningless crap? If you have such bothersome crap like that, then you're better off asking Margaret to take care of you. And if she says no to you, ask your second oldest. And if he says no, ask your oldest. And if we are all saying no, ask someone that lives close by to you. And if all of them say no to you, then maybe, just maybe, I'll be willing to come help you out.
So in other words, you won't do jack for us. Why do you keep beating around the bush so much about the truth, Maddie? I don't have any more patience with you, so hurry up and leave our house. I'm not going to give that house we worked so hard on to the both of you.
Why say all those awful things when I've already said that we're living here and that's final? If you think that you can continue to get away with picking on me, then I might just happen to divorce your son. Is that what you want from me?
Huh? You want to divorce him now?
With how far out in the countryside we live right now, me leaving him over this would be an embarrassment to your whole family. Especially after we already agreed that we'd be the ones living here with your second oldest and his wife. But after trying to be so nice about this, you've really hurt me with your words. I might just leave him now. Then that would mean you never even get to meet your granddaughter ever again.
So you think that's the best way to threaten us right now?
You're going to give this house to me and your oldest now, right? If you don't, I'll be divorcing your oh-so-important oldest son.
Right now, we're going to hand in the divorce forms.
Huh?
Thank goodness I was able to talk with Trevor so quickly. While I was talking with you on here, I decided to contact him about this. Apparently, he had no clue that you were trying to do such a thing with our house. He said he'd hurry up and handle everything for me now that he's aware you've gone off the deep end. But before that happens, the divorce forms will be handed in.
Huh? Why the hell would you guys hand that stuff in?
Because we have all had enough of your crap, Maddie. Even Trevor told me that he just can't deal with all your shenanigans anymore. He really told me that he never noticed how crazy you've been until now. He told me that he had already been preparing for the divorce as well.
What's so crazy about someone like me? I was the one that came up with that genius idea to take the house from you and live together here with your second oldest and his wife. If anything, I should be regarded as the intelligent one compared to all of you.
Someone that actually happens to be intelligent would never try to steal someone else's house from them. Just know that you have now gone and disrespected everyone in my family.
I have not disrespected anyone, including you. If anything, I've done my best to put up with you picking on me. Yet now you all act like Trevor and I need to be divorced?
I understand that you don't want to be bullied by your mother-in-law. When I married my husband, I had a lot of problems between his mom and I. But in your case, when you say you've tried your best, you've been wasting all your energy on nothing. Maybe it's time you settle down and realize that.
Huh? And how am I wasting my energy on trying to avoid your bullying? I wanted to make sure that I was far away from you so that I wouldn't have to be picked on anymore. And I'll continue to do that now. So expect to only see your grandbaby every couple of years now. I had done so well trying to let you live close to us and all.
Are you seriously saying that you did so well?
I am. If I let myself continue to be harassed by you, then I will have lost. That's why I'm not going to let a divorce happen after all the effort I've put in staying away from you. I'm betting that your second oldest and Margaret would be happy to live with me and Trevor.
I was so generous for thinking a plan up to make sure that they didn't have to live with a daughter-in-law abuser. So why can't you just understand what I've put so much of my intelligence into?
We are not happy at all about whatever plan you made. And actually, what about you is so amazing and smart?
Huh?
It's been a long time, Maddie. This would be Margaret. I have been sitting with Beth looking at all your guys' conversation, and things seem to have gotten pretty wild.
Margaret? So, you've been with Beth this whole time, huh? Well, this is your chance right now. Tell her right now with all your heart that you've never wanted to live together with her. And let her know how much you've been wanting to live with us instead.
I want to live with Beth, though. Actually, if anything, living with you and Trevor would be absolutely impossible for me.
What?
As a wife to this family myself, I can understand the fears you have. But getting this out of hand over something that's never existed is a huge waste of what could have been a happy family with all of us. Which is crazy because Beth is such a nice person to us all.
What are you talking about, Margaret? Didn't you take a look at that file I sent you? That was supposed to help you understand how awful things would be with Beth. You know dang well that living with us would be a way better time than those two. We would be able to support one another equally, and I'd even be happy to help you when you're in need.
Can you explain to me how you'd help me? Please list off to me all the merits we'd have by living with you.
Huh? I shouldn't have to tell you all of that, right? You should already know. For example, when we both have kids of our own, we can leave them together with one of us as the other has some time to themselves. Also, we'd be able to put all our incomes together to afford even nicer things.
In other words, you guys would be asking us to take care of your kid while you both take time to relax. But I'm sorry to say that would only be a pain in the butt for my husband and I.
Huh?
You have said before to Beth that you both have a nice daughter that you'd want to be raised around the family, but we can tell that you guys do not do a good job raising that kid. When the kid doesn't have their way, they immediately start to get upset and cry. I have been able to meet your kid a few times, but every time we see her, she seems to get worse.
Huh? My little girl has nothing wrong with her. What's wrong with you?
Also, you said that we could all put our incomes together so that we could all afford nicer things, right? But are you actually being serious about that? I don't like it when people tell me they can do things that they obviously cannot do.
What does that mean?
Well, in your case, you're a housewife, right? As for my husband and I, we both work full-time and make a considerable amount of money per year. But in your family, it's only Trevor that works. And I've heard from him before that you guys are already living on a fine line between making it out each month with no debt and having to borrow money.
What was that?
I can expect that Trevor would be willing to work for and help us out in the case we did all live together. But when you don't have a job and barely attend to your own kids' needs, I'm not so sure. I even hear a lot of times from my husband that he asks for advice when dealing with you. I'm sorry, but I just don't see us being able to all fairly put in money to the house when you're not working and Trevor is barely making it by.
You have to be kidding, right?
So, how else could you possibly help us? Actually, it seems that you'd only want to live with us so that you could leech off our money and time. Right now, the two of us don't have kids and we are both working great jobs that we love. You must have just been thinking that by having us around, your life would be a whole lot easier, right? You saw that we would have a whole lot of merits for you, hence you wanting to live with us.
You're wrong, Margaret. Actually, I have been really worried about you. I've never once heard of a wife doing well for themselves after moving in with their in-laws.
I am thankful that you've been so worried about me, but it was all a waste. I have spoken with Beth at least a dozen times about us all living together under one roof. And she was able to give me proof that her and her husband would be able to put in just the same amount as we would into the house. We all saw that there would be more merit to living together, all four of us. And if there was ever any issues, we'd trust one another enough to be able to find a solution. And that's why we all decided to live together. But of course, when you choose to not trust anyone and have nothing to give to anyone, living under one roof with the in-laws would be impossible.
Even after all the work I put in to make sure we could live in that house together? Why are you being so harsh to me?
Listen to yourself.
Huh?
I'm so sorry, Maddie. But you are an absolute piece of stinky trash. Oh, I just remembered that you'll soon be a stranger to all of us. Now, you shouldn't be as surprised by me being harsh to you because you're nothing more than an extremely crazy stranger to this family.
I don't even care anymore. If you want to talk to me like that, then go screw yourself. But if you begin to regret what all you've said to me and not choosing to live with us, don't come crying to me about it. Actually, I hope that Beth does harass the hell out of you for this. Hey, why are you all doing this to me? I just talked with Trevor and he really was serious about divorcing me. And what's worse is he's planning on taking my girl from me. Why am I the one that has to end up in trouble?
No matter what you try and say to me, I don't care. And since you're no longer my son's wife, you're just some stranger. Goodbye now, and good luck.
Huh? Well, why are you being so straightforward with this? You're my dang mother-in-law, so hurry up and make up with me and then come help. He told me he's going to make sure he never has to see me again. So you go and tell Trevor that he needs to calm down and come back to me.
My son is very calm right now, and so I think this is him just saying he's over you.
If you go and change his mind right now, I'll make sure the two of us become friends again. I'll even have us all come over to see you during the holidays. So hurry up and do something about this.
You don't have to come see us anymore. I already have my second oldest son and his kind wife living with me, and I can see that from now on we'll be able to enjoy the holidays together every year. And by having you out of her life, I think your daughter will begin to behave a whole lot better. Right now, she may have a bit of a temper, but I'm sure that we still have enough time to raise her right.
Huh? So you're saying everything's fine the way it is right now? You don't see any importance in me as your son's wife?
You're not even his wife anymore, so I'm not sure what you're going on about. Now, goodbye forever. Today we'll be moving more of our stuff into this new house, so we don't have time to talk to you anymore. We were able to move into the new house without any problems, and are now all living together as one happy family. And Margaret is a great woman, just as I expected. And so not to make ourselves be a burden to her, my husband and I have started taking training classes to make sure we stay strong and healthy as long as possible. And with us all caring about one another's needs, things work so perfectly here. And as for Trevor, he ended up renting an apartment nearby to us. And now that he has full rights to his daughter, they both live there together. It seems she's recently become better behaved and now even comes to our house all by herself to play. We've heard that Maddie has been trying her best to meet with her daughter after the divorce, but her daughter keeps telling us she doesn't want to see her. And Trevor is the same way, no longer wanting to meet with Maddie after the divorce.
I feel so bad for your parents. Having to still care for their daughter even though she's well into being an adult now. At least start doing the chores or something there, Stacy.
Huh? You're saying all those things about me?
That's right. The high school dropout, stay-at-home loser should be the one to do the chores for them. You're old enough now where you definitely should not still be relying on your parents. I can't believe you're not embarrassed to live like you are now.
Calling me a high school dropout stay-at-home loser is pretty mean, Amanda. I get that I did in fact drop out, but I'm working a full-time job now, so I wouldn't be calling me a loser or anything like that.
I don't want to see you being treated by both your parents at their house any longer. You chose to live the life of a dropout, right? Yet all I hear are excuses and complaints that you can't find a good job because you have no education. Some people call the life you have getting what you asked for.
Amanda? For some reason I get the feeling that you may be confused by something. I never chose to drop out of school myself. My parents told me to stop going to high school, and so I had no other choice but to leave. But even with that happening to me, I've worked hard to find a job that suits me.
Stop lying to me like some kind of politician. I already know the real you after everything I've heard from your parents.
Huh?
They said that you hated to study and learn, so you chose to drop out on your own. And they followed up by telling me that you don't even work a full-time job. Rather just some simple part-time job making barely anything. They even said that you jump jobs a lot, leaving you sitting at home between jobs as their little stay-at-home loser. You must really love being a parasite sucking on all that wealth that both your parents have, huh?
What are you talking about? You're saying that my parents said all of that about me?
They sure did. They are very worried about what'll happen to you after they've both passed away. And so they came to me crying to ask me what they should do about you. I never thought there were people in this world that were completely fine with making their parents suffer.
You have it all wrong, though, Amanda. Can you give me a chance to tell you my side of things?
I don't see any point in listening to some dropout speak to me. I hate low-life scum like you, Stacy. If you plan to keep living life without actually working for your own money, then I'm going to have to cut all ties I have with you.
What? I don't want my little brother and you to cut ties with me, though.
Well, I don't want my future to be ruined by you if you happen to start leeching off of me. If you don't want us to leave you, then it's time you go out and make a living yourself.
Hey, Mom! What if you made Amanda start thinking of me? Did you make her think that I was the one that chose to drop out of high school? And you made her think that I had no job and am some kind of a parasite? I can't believe you'd start telling so many lies to my sister-in-law for no good reason. Because I just got some nasty texts from Amanda about how upset she is with me. She told me to get a grip and to stop taking advantage of the two of you. But in reality, I'm working a great job, and if anything, I'm the one helping you both out the most. I'm the one that's literally supporting you and Dad right now, so what the hell is going on right now with all of you?
Oh, stop that. You don't have to be that upset with us. Your father and I both have to maintain an image ourselves, and so we had no other choice.
Huh?
You understand that we have to keep a good image as parents for others to see, right? And your little brother is married to a woman whose parents are both very high-class doctors. So your father and I would never tell her that our company had gone bankrupt a while back.
You really are such a vain person, Mom. You've always been trying to keep your reputation as the wife of some CEO even after his company fell apart. Most people already know that his company went bankrupt, yet you keep trying to hide it for some reason?
We are doing this for your brother as well, though. Having a wife that's family is full of amazing people while the husband's family is full of failures. If they were to find out about that, they would leave your brother in an instant. I'm hiding the truth from them for your brother's sake, as well as for our own.
I get what you're trying to say to me, but don't treat me like an idiot, okay? I know that you're just trying to maintain your guys' pride is all. It was your guys' fault, after all, that I had to drop out of high school, right? Yet somehow you thought it okay to say that it was all my own choice.
Are you trying to say it was our fault?
While the company was going under, you guys went and started to take all the money that was saved up for me to go to college. And because of that, there was no reason for me to continue on with school, especially when you both kept pulling me out of class to come home and help you both.
What are you talking about? That's just you saying that you gave up on staying in school. You still had the chance to do well in school and get a scholarship to go to college with.
And I would have tried my best to get a full-ride scholarship or something to a school of my choice. But you kept telling me that as a woman, I didn't need an education. You both told me that every day while asking me to leave school over and over again to come home and help you guys with that failing business. You would even get frustrated with me and start saying things like me valuing myself more than my own family. I had no choice but to drop out of school after constantly hearing that from the two of you.
Oh, we said things like that to you, did we? I don't remember saying anything like that, though.
In the end, I did as you both had asked of me and dropped out of high school. And then after Dad said I could work in his company to help it recover, he started paying me less than minimum wage. Really, I was better off finding a job of my own instead of wasting my time working for practically nothing.
Don't say such awful things like that, Stacy. We made sure that by having you work in the real world early, you'd become an even better employee than others your age. And besides, you were still living with us while working, so there was no need for you to get the same pay as others, as you didn't have to pay any living costs.
And that's why I saved whatever I could that I received and tried to get out of the house. Right when I was about to leave the house and find a job of my own to live on, you both fumbled the ball and let the company go under. Then you and Dad came running to me, crying and asking me to come home and help you guys out.
Well, that was a very tough time for all of us. We had tried our hardest to make things work in that company, but ended up still falling short in some places. And that all happened right when your brother was going to university. If it wasn't for you and the money you brought to us, we would have never been able to raise our boy well enough.
If you're trying to make it seem like you're thankful for me, why are you wrapping it in a bunch of bullcrap? You know that I've been the one supporting you and Dad ever since your company went bankrupt, so why can't you just be thankful for me and speak the truth?
Come on, Stacy. I want to say the truth, but we have to do this for your brother. We cannot allow your brother to look bad compared to his lovely wife, Amanda. If they knew that his parents weren't well off, they'd leave him in the dust. So please, be a good little girl and follow along in our lives to make your father and I look good.
What?
I'm thankful for you in the bottom of my heart. But when we are with Amanda, you are going to be that no-good high school dropout stay-at-home loser that we want her to believe you are. Stacy, I just made sure to put all of your things outside the house for you. Come here at some point today and get rid of all of it, okay? From now on, you're no longer going to be living here. Huh.
Wait, what? Why can't I live at my parents' house anymore?
Because I can't look at your poor parents any longer as they struggle to take care of you. And so, from now on, your brother and I are going to move in with your parents. So, we have to make sure that the high school dropout stay-at-home loser is out of this.
Excuse me?
I made sure to give you a warning a few weeks ago, right? I told you to get a grip and find a good job for yourself. And that you should stop causing your parents any more trouble than you already have. Yet you didn't listen to me at all, and have not found yourself any kind of proper work yet, just as I expected from a parasite. And so, we had to do something about you.
You're kidding me, right? So you've gone ahead and put all my things out in front of the house without asking first? Having to leave that house without any warning?
Your parents are so happy right now. Having the parasitic dropout out of their house has brought them all kinds of joy.
What?
And on top of that, their very successful son and his wife will be living together with them. I can't blame them for being so happy after finally having such a heavy weight lifted off their backs. Your brother works for a very good company, and I'm able to live perfectly as his housewife for the rest of my life.
You all really can only think about yourselves and nothing else then, huh? I've also told you plenty of times, Amanda, but I am seriously working a very good job right now. I even have the money to take care of that whole household without issue. Yet after everything I've done, I'm actually going to be kicked out of my own parents' home?
Come on now, Stacy, and stop with all that lying. I've never heard of any high school dropout getting a good enough job with any company. And trying to make yourself look good now by lying about some magical job that you don't have? Oh, this will only make things hurt worse for you.
I guess you really never will be able to listen to what I've had to say. I do think my parents are the worst for getting you to believe such lies, but you not even giving me the chance to explain everything to you is just insane.
I told you there's no point in me listening to whatever a dropout has to say about me. If I were to listen to you, my ears might just melt right off my head.
Excuse me?
Both of my parents are amazing doctors, and I'm their very well-off daughter. And since I have a husband now with a very good career, I cannot be bothered to be around some loser like you.
I see. No matter what I try and say, to you, I'm just a stupid high school dropout. And that's why you won't listen or give me a chance.
An embarrassment like you only has one job now, and that's to get lost. From now on, your very busy business-owning mom and dad will be taking care of your brother and I. Huh.
Good luck with my jobless parents, then.
Uh-huh.
I have a lot to be upset about right now, but honestly, I'm relieved to be getting kicked out of that house. I'm finally set free from those two extremely selfish, unemployed parents of mine. Amanda, do your best with taking care of those two for me, okay? They really don't have anything to offer now that their company has been gone for years, but since you and my brother will be living with them now, I don't have to worry.
Their company is gone? Oh, wait, what do you mean they're jobless? His parents still have a company, right? I never heard anything about their company going bankrupt or anything.
That's because they worked really hard to hide that fact from you. So of course you wouldn't hear about any of it.
Wait, what do you mean they worked hard to hide it from me?
In reality, the both of them lost that company years ago. They had a hard time keeping that company afloat, and after a lot of near misses, they finally lost the company. And so right now, they've both been living each day pretty well thanks to the money I bring in. I've been the sole provider for those two this whole time, Amanda.
Huh? That cannot be real. Do you actually think I'd believe you telling me that their company went bankrupt when I've never heard a thing about this from them before?
Well, of course you won't, especially since my mom has been lying to you about it for a while now. So there's no way you could believe me right now.
And also, you're still a high school dropout, right? There's no way someone as low as you could ever take care of your parents as well as you make it seem. There's no way an idiot with no education could ever support two people on their own.
I didn't drop out of high school because I hated studying, you know. Because of my parents both being failures and crying to me all the time, I had to stop going.
Your parents' fault then?
Right when I was getting into my junior year, their company was in hot water. And out of nowhere, they took the money that had been saved up for me to go to college and put it into their company to keep it from going under. And so because of that, there was little hope of me going on, of course, with the addition of them both constantly asking me to help them. I just wasn't able to manage myself anymore and had to give in to their nonstop begging. But as for my brother, they told me that he needs to go to a good university since he's a man. And that's why he was able to get a college degree and all of that.
Wait, really?
And for me, I was left trying my best to help out in whatever way I could with my parents' company. Luckily, even though I wasn't earning much for helping them, I learned a lot about running a business and was able to start my own smaller company. So thankfully, I'm now able to make around $200,000 a year off of it.
$200,000. Yo, you're able to bring in that kind of money? Wait, I didn't even know that you had a whole company of your own now.
Well, I tried my best to explain all of that to you before. I said that I was working a good job. And I asked you to just listen to me over and over again, right?
Ugh.
But you chose to only believe in my mom's word without ever giving me a chance. And you had the idea that because I was a dropout, I couldn't amount to anything. But because of your blind faith in her, I was finally able to get out of their house, and I am so happy for it. I was getting very tired of having to give my time to the two of them.
Wait. You can't possibly be saying that, we'll be able to care for them. Having to live in the same house as two unemployed losers is not something I can do. They'll be the downfall of me, and I'll never be able to have my own life. I'm no longer going to live here with them. There's no way I'm living with people that have no money.
Oh?
I thought living with them would mean more money for me. Honestly, I had assumed that they'd pay for everything I wanted and needed. But that'll never happen now that they don't have a company to bring money in with. There's no merit to me living with them anymore now.
Amanda? You had been wanting to live with my parents so that they'd pay for all of your wants and needs? Even though they'd already be letting you live in the house with them?
What do you want? What's wrong with me having them pay for everything I need and want? Isn't it normal to have your parents paying for you when you're living with them? And I could use the money to help out my parents with their life right now. What's so wrong with that?
What? Your parents need help with their lives now too? Those two are doctors, right? So they should be bringing in a large amount of money for themselves. I have never heard of a doctor that doesn't make enough money to support themselves.
Huh?
Could this mean that your parents aren't actually doctors? There's no reason that you would have lied to all of us about that, right? I'm sure you and your parents are different from my selfish and self-centered ones.
Hey, how did you guess that? How did you come to the conclusion that my parents aren't doctors? How did you figure out that I've been lying to you? Are you some kind of investigator or something?
What? They aren't actually doctors then, so you have been lying to us all.
No, wait, that wasn't a lie. Wait, hold on, I never said they were real doctors, did I?
Can you calm down a little and clearly explain yourself? What was a lie and what was the truth? And can you tell me why you lied in the first place?
Well, because your brother told me that his parents both ran a company of their own. And since your dad was technically a CEO, I had no choice but to lie about my parents. I didn't want him to think poorly of me, so I accidentally started telling him that my parents were both doctors. But in reality, those two just work part-time at the supermarket.
Oh.
If he found out that they both were part-timers at the supermarket, I thought he'd give up on me and your parents would tell me I can't marry him. So that's why I kept my family a secret so that I could be married. But for a while now, I've been getting an allowance from the both of my parents to make it seem like they are rich. Around $500 a month to keep everyone from knowing the truth about them.
So you have really made your life tough on yourself. After lying about both of your parents and then having them pay you money every month to keep up the ruse?
That's why for a little while I kept the truth hidden and received some money from the two of them. But now they want me to repay them for that, and the amount they want to receive from me is huge. And since I can't keep paying them back as much as they've been asking, I planned on living with your parents to get some money from them. I wouldn't have to pay for living expenses, and they would even be able to hand my parents the money they need.
And so that's your reason for kicking out some dropout stay-at-home loser? You made it seem as though you were being a saint and saving my parents the trouble of having to deal with me, when really you just wanted to become the parasite that feeds off them.
But I never thought that your parents would be unemployed. I just hoped that I could at least get a little money from the both of them for living with them. What is wrong with the both of your parents? They hid all of that from me! They're the worst!
So you're saying that about them? You yourself lied about your parents so that you could get married to my brother and make it this far with him.
Well, I can be forgiven for my lies because they were necessary. I just needed to lie so that I'd be able to marry your brother. It was just a harmless lie, unlike the ones your parents have told.
No matter what the reason is a lie. But isn't this all great? Both of your guys' parents have been having trouble with money, so you don't have to worry about one's parents being better than the others. Now you can all relax and live together as a happy family. So as for caring for both my parents in that house, please and thank you.
Come back home, Stacy. I never thought that Amanda would have been the one to lie to all of us. What was she telling us when she said her parents were doctors? All they are, two part-time losers. I'm gonna have her divorce my son right now.
What? You're making her leave the family?
Of course I am. She lied to everyone about who her parents really were. But by doing that, we'll only be left with your brother in this house. And with the work he does and the money he makes, we won't have enough to live in this house. So that's why you need to come back to our house and help us.
No, he should be able to help you better than me, right? He was the one that went to an amazing university and got into a really nice company that pays him so well, right? He should be more than able to support you all with the money he makes.
Well, he's making less than we had all been led to believe. We thought he'd at least be making $100,000 a year at that company with the education he has. But he's only making a measly $50,000 for all three of us to try and live on.
Well, he only just started working there, so it makes sense he's not that high up yet. If anything, he's making just enough at his age with the education he has.
But with that kind of money, your father and I can't live our lives freely. When we had you, you'd give us $50,000 a year to spend on what all we wanted. But he said he can't do the same for us. He said if he works really hard, he could do $1,000 a month, but that's not enough.
Well, that's because you and Dad aren't economizing. Even though you lost that company years ago, you and Dad still live like you can both afford anything and do whatever you like. That's the whole reason I had to give you that $50,000 a year, is because you guys continued that costly lifestyle.
Hey, please, Stacy. Just come back to this house and bring everything back to the way it was. I'll apologize to you for everything that happened as long as you come back here.
Absolutely not. I am not going to ever give you guys any of my money ever again.
What?
And before you continue to think about trying to get me to come back, you might want to work on gathering all your things and getting out of there. Now that I'm not living there, I'm having the house sold.
Huh? You're gonna sell this house?
Did you forget about that? I'm the one that owns that house. When you both lost the company, the bank was going to take the house and everything as well, so I stepped in and bought the house from you.
Huh?
And I've paid off the rest of the house now, so I'm free to sell it. So you and Dad and everyone need to get out.
Yo, you're lying, right? Wait! You're going to sell this wonderful house that we've all lived in?
Well, if you had never thrown me out of the house, then this wouldn't have to be happening. But now that I've seen how you guys act, I have to do even the most heartbreaking of things. Along with this, I plan to cut ties to you all as well. And anything that has traces of you guys on it is going to be sold, like the house. I want to completely forget about you all and start a new life for myself.
What?
No matter what you have to say, it's too late. So I'll give you until the end of the week, okay? If you don't leave by then, expect the police or someone to come pick you all up. Immediately after that, my brother and Amanda got a divorce. And in Amanda's case, she had to go back to her parents, who were pissed that she got a divorce. And so they told her to find a job and start making all the money that she needs to pay them back for what they'd done for her. But in her selfish and stupid fashion, Amanda told them to shut up and that if only they had real jobs, she wouldn't have been divorced. And so right now, the three of them are living together in her parents' house while she tries her hardest to make whatever money she can. In my parents' case, they are still with my brother at a smaller house, relying on him to care for them. But unlike how things were when they got to have me taking care of them, my brother is a lot more straightforward and is asking them to find some kind of work to start making a little extra money. He then told them that if they don't, he'll have no choice but to kick them out. And because of that, both my parents are now working their hardest to find some kind of employment. But of course, this hasn't all happened without my mom texting me constantly to have me come back and help them. But every single time, I leave her texts on read and completely ignore her. Layla, where are you right now? Everyone is out looking for you right now.
Kinsey, I have realized something very important. I see that we only have one shot at life, right?
Wait, what? Did you think that we had more chances at starting a new life?
Well, if there is only one life that we can live, I should be living my life the way I want to, right?
But where are you right now, Layla?
I'm at the train station,
What train station?
close to where I've been living.
Huh? But that station is like an hour's walk away from your house. And there's only 30 minutes left until the wedding ceremony begins.
I am not getting married.
Hold on, Layla, what are you saying? Today is the day of your wedding, right? And everyone you invited are already here waiting for you to marry the groom. And after telling everyone for the longest time you were going to get married, you're not? What the hell has happened to you?
It turns out that I don't want to get married anymore. And I just want you to know that this isn't some sort of confusion on my part.
You really don't want to get married then? But if you really didn't want to, then you should have told everyone that before your big day, right? Right now, everyone is worried because we don't know where you ran off to.
Well, I plan to move away now.
My head is starting to hurt. Are you kidding me? You're going to move away now?
If I continue to live in the house I've been in, my fiance will come looking for me, right? And you, Mom, and Dad all know where I was living, so I couldn't hide. And so I've decided I'll move far away and start my life over again and live it the way I want to.
But that's just what you think would happen. Are you actually planning to do all of this today?
I know that you'd all come after me, so that's why I chose today to run while you all are busy. Now, take care of that wedding for me, could you?
What do you want me to do about your wedding? Come back here and take responsibility for your own wedding, Layla. This has nothing to do with me, right?
But you're my older sister, Kinsey.
Even though I'm your big sister, you running away from your wedding is not something I need to be responsible for. You have to come back here and apologize to your fiance for this, okay?
Now that you bring him up, I never chose to be with him.
But you were the one that chose to ask his hand in marriage, right?
He's the guy that Mom and Dad brought to me to go out with.
You kept saying that you wanted to get married and asked them over and over again to introduce you to a good-looking man. And so Mom and Dad did exactly that for you.
But I thought they'd bring me someone a bit better looking than him. If only there was another man that I could have chosen with a bit better of a face.
Huh? I just have to ask this for my own interest. But you haven't been with any other men this whole time, right?
I don't care about him anymore, so we don't have to keep talking about this.
Hey, Layla?
I'm telling you that my fiance looks good and all, but he's only a simple office man. And he's working in the same company as Dad, right?
I've heard he works under Dad, but...
So that means that even at his best, he'd be doing the same as Dad. I hate simple people like that. I want to become someone that has a lot of money, you know? And having to be with an office worker making the same as pretty much every other man is not going to happen to me.
So you're being that selfish again, huh? Can you stop trying to think of only yourself when it comes to things involving others? I don't care who you plan to get married to, but making other people have to go through trouble for you is not okay.
But they have you there, so you can do something to ease the pain for everyone, right?
Stop playing around, Layla. I am well aware that you are a pretty selfish woman when it comes to money and things like that. But what you're doing now is taking things way too far. You're already an adult now, okay? And when you chose to get married and chose to have a wedding, you made both those decisions yourself, right? So if you don't want to go through with all this anymore, you need to come back here and clean up the mess.
Well, I don't like having to deal with anything troubling, and all that other crap like people's feelings is just too much for me. I'll leave all that to you.
I am not going to clean up your mess. I may be your older sister, but I am not some kind of assistant to you.
But having you as my older sister go in front of everyone and say you're sorry for my actions should work out, right?
But why do I have to be the one saying sorry for your selfish actions?
Because that's what big sisters are for, right? You want to take care of your cute little sister, so you'll do anything to make sure they stay happy.
But when you cancel on a wedding with your fiancé, that's like something out of an old drama or something. Do you not see just how many problems this is going to cause for everyone here?
There will not be that many problems, Kinsey. You just have everyone start eating and drinking, and then you can all get drunk and have a laugh over this.
But you just went and left the wedding without saying a word to anyone, so you're going to have to pay for the wedding being canceled. And your fiancé is also going to want you to pay him a settlement for the trouble you've caused. And you're going to have to apologize to all the guests that came here today taking time out of their busy lives. And finally, you're going to have to tell his parents why you chose to not marry him in the end.
All right then. Why don't you take my place in the wedding?
Huh? What is wrong with you?
You and I are about the same height, although my breasts are a bit bigger. But you can fit into my dress and pull it off, I think. And you're single right now with no boyfriend or anything holding you down. This will be perfect for you. So instead of me, you can get married today.
Come back to reality right now. I am not going to be taking your place as the bride today. I don't want to get married yet, and I will not be taking over your wedding to do so.
The train's here. So I'm going to leave now. I plan to become happy again, so you go ahead and make yourself happy as well. Bye-bye.
Hold it right there, Layla. Don't even try blocking me. Layla? Mom, where are you? Dad even told me that he hasn't seen you anywhere yet.
Hi, Kinsey. Thank you.
Huh? What?
Your dad and I are leaving right now. Layla didn't end up coming to her own wedding, and so there was no reason for us to stay there, right? And so that's why we left already.
Hold on, Mom! You just left me all alone here by myself? What am I going to do now?
I'd like you to tell all the guests about how our daughter will no longer be coming to that wedding and the reason why. And whatever happens after that, I'd also like you to deal with.
You're leaving this all to me?
As well as the talks about the cost of the wedding. You can already tell that his family is getting upset, right? Try your best and get them to not think about getting a settlement from Layla, okay?
They have a right to be mad at her, though. She literally canceled on the wedding and ran away.
And I want you to be the one apologizing for that. You're good with all that stuff, right? I think you'll be able to handle everything that has to do with the money side of things as well. This has nothing to do with me or your dad, after all.
What do you mean it has nothing to do with you two? Layla is your daughter, right? And what do you mean I'm good at this stuff? I don't ever remember being really good at apologizing for other people's mistakes.
I'm saying that you've always been good at controlling other people's emotions.
Are you talking about how in the past I'd always be there to talk Layla out of getting punished and things like that?
And that made you a great big sister.
Come on, Mom. The only reason she was ever able to get away with things is because you and Dad would always spoil her. And whenever there were any problems, you'd have me come in and handle it.
Don't try and make it sound like we pushed things off on you.
But it's the truth. Whenever I was with Layla and she'd throw a ball and break the window, you'd blame me for it. And when we'd be at a friend's house and she'd damage some of their things, I'd be blamed for it. You guys always made me have to be the one to deal with all her mistakes.
And that's because you're the big sister. It's your job to take care of your little sister, right?
But you guys are making me take her place when she needs to learn herself that what she's done is wrong. But now that you've been doing that all her life, she's never learned that her actions have consequences that can hurt other people. And that's why this whole situation with her wedding has happened. She's an adult, for crying out loud.
And I can see that this time she took things a bit too far. And so, after this, we plan to punish her if she ever comes back to our house.
For the time being, can you guys come back here to help me with her fiancé's parents? If we don't apologize to them and handle this, they'll be very upset.
It should be more than enough to have you there apologizing for all of this.
Are you kidding me?
And that's why I've been asking you to take care of everything for us and that I was thankful. When you have the whole mess cleaned up, you let me and your father know.
So, in other words, not only is Layla not taking responsibility for this, but neither are you and Dad?
Well, it's not our fault that Layla decided to cancel out of nowhere on her own wedding like that.
But she's your kid, and you have to take responsibility for that.
Well, she's an adult now and has a life of her own. And she moved out of our house a while back. So there's no reason for us to be responsible for her anymore.
Why are you all so irresponsible?
If you want to keep passing the responsibility around like that, maybe it's time you take it. I think that your father and I don't have to take any responsibility for what's happened today. But you do feel like someone has to be responsible, right? Well then, go ahead and take it so that this can all be dealt with.
There's no reason for me to be taking it either, though.
Well, you're the only one there from the immediate family, right? So it's all on your shoulders now. So make sure you clean it all up with nothing remaining, okay? And do not bring a single speck of trouble home with you.
You're lying, right? Mom, come on. Do not leave me here all by myself in the middle of Layla's problem.
I stopped blocking you, Kenzie. It's been so long now. How are you doing?
Layla, after leaving your wedding without telling anyone and then blocking me when you finally did respond after telling me that you were going to run away, what do you want from me?
Really? You're still upset over all of that? A woman that can't let go of the past is scary.
If you don't have anything for me, can we be done here? I'm working right now anyway.
You're still living with Mom and Dad, right?
Ever since I got out of college, I've been living there. What about it?
I knew it. Let me guess, you're also still single. If you keep living with them, you're going to stay single forever.
So did you unblock me just to tell me something like that?
Actually, I'm thinking of coming back home.
What? You're coming home now? What are you talking about?
I had a lot of things going on for the past 3 years, Kinsey. But I think that I'm done with all of them and plan to come back and live with Mom and Dad.
Wait! I have a lot of things I'd like to say as well then. Are you actually saying you want to come back here? It's because of you that I had to deal with a lot of bullcrap.
If you're talking about that wedding, that's in the past now.
Well, after realizing that you had canceled on the wedding, both Mom and Dad left back to the house as well. And they left me there to clean up your mess.
And?
I had to apologize to every single person there, and that day has gone down as the worst in my life. I had to literally go up to the parents of your fiancé and ask them to forgive you and our family over and over again with all my will.
Great job, Kenzie. Thank you so much for being there for me.
Before I get any thanks from you, I'd like an apology.
I understand that you had all of that happen to you, but I have a new fiancé and I want to come back home to get married.
Don't you dare forget about what happened to me. And you have another fiancé now? You're not on your own right now?
Nope. And he told me that it'd be okay if I lived with Mom and Dad, so I thought I'd be nice and give him the chance to live with Mom, Dad, and myself at their house. And so I'd like you to get out of there.
What?
If you're still living there, you're getting in the way, right? And I plan to make your current room into the room him and I can start making love in. So the parasite still living in their parents' house needs to get out.
Well, that house isn't there anymore, though.
Huh? Yeah, there's no way that could be possible.
It's because of you that it went bye-bye.
Because of me? What are you going on about?
We had to sell it 3 years ago. Look, you canceled last minute on your own wedding, right? We had to pay for all the wedding and for the settlement your then fiancé had asked for, and we didn't have the money for that. And so Mom and Dad sold the house and used that money to pay them.
Hold on a second. I left you to handle everything for me, didn't I?
Well, those people didn't just want me to apologize to them. They also asked that I pay for all of the wedding and for the settlement. And because it was your wedding that you dipped out on last second, your fiancé's parents were so upset with me that they would not let me leave without promising to give them the money they asked for. They were at the point that I feared for my life, that someone might kill me.
Well, maybe you should have been a bit more kind to them.
Realize that they aren't only pissed at me for what happened, and they are also pissed at Mom and Dad.
What do you mean?
You pushed all your responsibilities on me and ran, and then Mom and Dad left the wedding with no such thing as a single apology to his family. And when his parents learned that I was the only one trying to save our family, they lost all faith in our parents and you. But luckily, in the end of things, they saw that since I stayed and took the responsibility that was not mine, they forgave me. They told me that I didn't have to be the one to pay them for the money they asked for.
So you're saying that Mom and Dad took care of all of it?
Well, it should have been you paying, but since you were a little dog about it, Mom and Dad had to. And ever since that day, I have not felt any remorse for Mom and Dad and feel no need to care for them. And I left their home as soon as I could.
Then you lied to me and you're not actually with them anymore.
Well, back when I was going to college, I was able to save a little bit of money by living with Mom and Dad. And then even after that, I continued to stay with them to save up a lot of my own money.
What?
And I had planned to give them some money back for helping pay my tuition. But I also had a scholarship that helped pay for most of my schooling, and so I was able to pay them back through chores around the house since it wasn't that much. However, when you had canceled on your wedding, I made sure to pay them whatever remained with that money I'd saved up and got right out of their house.
Then where are you living at now?
In a penthouse, but that's all I'm saying.
A penthouse? Why the heck are you able to live in a penthouse right now?
Because I'm a married woman, and my husband is a business owner. And so I moved into the penthouse that he had been living in alone while he was single.
Wait, you're lying, right? Why are you able to have such an amazing life now with a husband who has all that money?
Well, anyway, that's the reason there's no more home left for you to go back to. And so you can't come back. When I was leaving the house, Mom told me that I was disowned for leaving them to take care of their mess. And since then, I haven't gotten a single message from either Mom or Dad. So I have no clue where they are or what they're doing at this moment.
Then where should I go now? I'm going to be having a baby soon.
You're going to give birth? Are you actually pregnant right now, Layla?
Yeah, I did become pregnant, and since I'll be needing money and support, I thought I'd go back to Mom and Dad's house to live. And I thought that Mom and Dad would be happy to have me back and all.
Well, this has nothing to do with me then. If you happen to have their number still, why not try giving them a call? However, I don't think they're going to help you paint a happy life for yourself.
Hey, Kenzie. Since when have you become married? And when did your husband turn out to be a business owner, allowing you to live in a penthouse?
You disowned me, so I thought that meant we had cut ties, right? Why are you trying to talk to me now? Did you actually want to know that I was getting married back then?
I want to talk about how your husband has money right now. What penthouse are you guys living in? If you happen to have another room in that penthouse, then your dad and I are going to be living there shortly. Do you have kids yet? If you do, then you can leave them in my care while you go out.
If you're looking for a grandbaby, it would be in Layla's belly. So go help care for hers, okay? She is your favorite daughter, after all.
That girl is trying to get us to give her money right now. And when she told us about getting married, she also said her fiancé is jobless. If she doesn't have the money, she should get a job or something. Do something with her life, right? I don't want her coming to us for money right now.
Well, she did say she wanted to become wealthy, didn't she? Guess she never could make it that high. Well, I guess I knew that with the way she acted, nobody with money would be looking to marry her.
Compared to a parasitic daughter asking for money, we'd rather have the daughter that's doing well with her wealthy husband. You know that ever since we had to sell the house, things have been tough for us, right? You also know about how the man that Layla was supposed to marry worked under your dad, right? Because of that, work became difficult for your dad, and right now he's no longer working there. I can't deal with living in this cheap and raggedy apartment anymore, you know? I'd love to see what it's like to live in a penthouse.
Well, I plan to stay as far away as I can from you guys. And so I'd like you guys to no longer talk to me after this.
What are you saying, Kenzie? You want to live with your mom and dad, right? Right. You were home with us that whole time after you graduated, right?
That was because we promised to do that so that I could pay you back for paying my tuition. And I've paid you back for all of it, right?
But ever since you've left us, you've been so cold.
But that might have to do with you and Dad leaving me at Layla's wedding to clean up all the mess for you three.
But when our life began to go downhill, nobody came to help us.
Well, you both and Layla used me so often to take care of all your guys' troubles that when the day came you actually needed help, I was all used up. I am not your scapegoat, okay? I had had enough of your problems and made sure that the next time you needed me, you took the time to deal with your own problems.
I feel so sorry for spoiling Layla so much instead of spoiling you as well. And so I want to apologize to you for all of that. So, please tell us your address. I want to see your husband as well. And since he has his own company and all, he should be able to support your dad and I as well, right? Right, Kinsey? Kenzie, tell us your address. I am not allowed to go back to Mom and Dad, so I'll be coming to live with you.
Nope.
But your little sister is in trouble again.
Why not try living on your own then? Perhaps even go and care for Mom and Dad now that they're in trouble as well. I am a wife to a loving husband and family now. I have no need to be around you guys.
But you told me that Mom had taken care of paying for the wedding and settlement, right? If I'd known you were telling the truth, then I would have never bothered calling them again.
Well, they had to pay for something you should have managed. I'm guessing they want you to pay them back now for all of that, right?
I don't have that kind of money on me. And I have a baby that I need to give birth to. Aren't they being rude? And when I told them about you, they just hung up on me.
Well, just a bit ago, I was talking with Mom.
Those two are the worst parents. If they need me to care for them in the future, I will definitely not. They never bothered to help me when I need them most, so this is what they'll get. That's why I'll come to live with you now.
Well, when you were in trouble, you took all that trouble and pushed it onto me. And then you just disappeared forever, leaving me with all the people that were really hurt by you to try and say I was sorry to them. Because of that, I am no longer your sister.
Stop that! Hold on a sec. Don't tell me you're not my sister. If I don't have you anymore, who am I going to go to with my needs?
You have that fiancé of yours and a kid on the way. You can ask them to help you. You have to be ready for when your baby arrives, right?
Help me, Kinsey. Your cute little sister is in trouble right now. I have always thanked you for helping me out.
I'm sorry, but I have never liked having to deal with your responsibilities that you pushed onto me. And even though you're an adult now, you still haven't learned that there are consequences for your actions and that you must deal with them instead of having me do it for you.
Wait, Kenzie, I'm asking you, please.
I think it's my turn to block you. According to what friends and distant family have told me, Layla has been battling Mom and Dad about the money she owes them after they covered for her. They all don't have any money right now, and it seems none of them would like to get a job. They made a truce to all live together and work with whatever money they had to survive, and it seems that the whole conversation about having Layla pay them back has vanished. And recently, it seems the three of them have been going around asking family and friends to lend them some money. But because everyone has heard the stories of what happened, they haven't received a thing.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.